Welcome to the grounds crew. My name is Alex.
And this is Paul.
Today we are doing an NFL episode. One of our viewers asked us if we were going to be branching out into different sports, and we talked about the Tyson Paul fight. You can go watch those videos. We did two of them. We did a before and after, and now we're going to the NFL. So, Paul, I will give it to you. You're going to be the lead on this video.
All right, we're going to start with the AFC, and we're going to start with the AFC East, and then we're going to work our way through the AFC, and then we'll go to the NFC. So we'll start with the AFC East. I'm not necessarily going in any order. If so, it would be sort of how they were ranked maybe after week 10. But this is one of the worst divisions in the NFL simply because the Buffalo Bills are the only one that's playing over 500. The Buffalo Bills just now beat the Chiefs. And so, because of that, Josh Allen, their quarterback, is now being considered an MVP quarterback. They are ranked 15th and better in almost every category in both offense and defense. And so, they are a team to be reckoned with. Uh, and matter of fact, I was looking at their schedule, and the only team they have coming up that's even going to be a struggle is Detroit. So they could actually go the rest of the season with just one loss, which is huge. So I expect them to at least make the playoffs. Definitely, matter of fact, within 2 or 3 weeks here, they might even clinch their division simply because of how rough the division is. Um,
Yeah,
Miami Dolphins.
considering the next team, the division is the Dolphins. They only have 4 wins. I think the Bills should be clinching basically any week. Like you said, it's not a competitive division at this point. The Bills are running away with it. They just traded for Amari Cooper at wide receiver, so that helps their offense tremendously. They didn't have the best receiving core, but it did get better with this trade, and it's no contest for the division. No other team is above 500. The Dolphins probably have the best chance, but we don't know what type of quarterback that Tua is going to be for the rest of the year. Yeah, the Bills. There's no contest. They've won the division already.
Yeah, I agree. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tua came to us from Alabama, and he was probably supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks coming in. Everybody expected him to be stellar. I did not follow him through college. I'm not an Alabama fan, so I don't remember hearing of him having concussions through college. But one of his big downfalls since he's come to Miami is just a constant problem with concussions. And concussions is just a no-no anymore in football. They just will not have it. And so because of that, he has been benched so much. And what's so sad is they have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in Tyreek Hill, and Hill still has good numbers even without Tua being the quarterback. And so, in my opinion, his career is not going to last long, unfortunately, because of this problem. And I don't think Hill's going to stay there very long because he needs to go somewhere that he can use his wide receiver catching ability with a good coach. The other unique, funny thing about them is their coach, Mike McDaniel, is probably one of the geekiest looking coaches of all time in football. He doesn't even look like a football coach. He looks like somebody that should be doing the statistics on the sideline. It's so hilarious to look at him. And he always looks like that. He never looks like he never looks like a football coach at all. And then they just don't have, because Tua's not in there enough. They're not scoring enough points. Their scoring right now is like 16 points per game. Well, you're not going to win games at that point. You just can't do it. And so I don't see Miami coming out of their struggle until they figure out what they're going to do with quarterback. And again, I love Tua. I love to watch it. Matter of fact, it was last year that they scored, what was it, 60 some points or 70 some points or something in a game. Um, and I mean, they're fantastic when he's there, but he just gets hurt almost every game. Just this last game, he played, they won, and they were scared to death every time he got tackled. And so it's like you can't play like that in the NFL anymore. There's too many problems with concussions.
Yeah, Tua really needs to consider retirement. He needs to think about the people he has around him in his personal life, and he needs to think about himself and his health. Because with these many concussions, there is going to be damage,
Exactly.
permanent damage, especially
Exactly.
if he gets. Think if he gets more concussions. Really think he should call it career right now, and if not now, at the end of the season. He
Exactly.
really should not be continuing.
I agree. New York Jets. Oh boy, what a tough time to be a New York Jets fan. So last year you have when
Has it
what?
not been tough to be a New York Jet fan?
So last year they thought their hero was coming in Aaron Rodgers, and the very first play, practically, he's gone. And he trash talked the whole year that he was coming back with a vengeance and he would be the best of all time and he was going to turn around this team, and it just hasn't happened. And they've already fired the coach after week 5. Now I just heard that they've fired the GM of New York Jets. I mean, they are trying their best to try to totally turn around this team. Well, the best turnaround is to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has had his heyday. There's no doubt about it. The man has been a phenomenal quarterback at one time, but they have no rushing whatsoever. And when you're trying to get him to be your passer, it's not working. And so I don't know what else to say. They have other quarterbacks available. Use them. Let Aaron help them learn how to pass. The man does know how to pass, but they have nothing surrounding him. You got to have help. You can't just go by a quarterback only. And so they just need to totally do like the Mets and start buying some stuff. Is all I can say. They need some serious help.
I don't understand about the Jets offense is they actually have pieces around Aaron Rodgers. They have Brees Hall, who is a good running back. They have Garrett Wilson, who they drafted at wide receiver a couple years ago. He's finally starting to have a breakout year. Then they just traded for former Rodgers teammate Devontae Adams.
Well, I
Well,
didn't know
again,
about that one.
yeah, they traded for Devontae Adams, and the offense still isn't clicking. They are, let's see, right now they are currently, I just had it up, 3-8 while we're recording this video. They're 3-8.
Yeah, that's terrible.
One, yeah, that's the Patriots record as well. You know how I'm feeling right now. But
So, since you
one
brought
thing
up
I
the
was,
Patriots, oh boy. It is so rough to watch the Patriots after their years and years of legacy. It is so rough to watch them post Belichick and Brady. Their coach was just hired in January. They are literally okay. There's only 32 teams in football. They are ranked 25th and below in most categories, both offense and defense. You are not going to win games, period, when you are ranked 25th and below in those kind of in almost every category. And I feel so sorry for these loyal fans. I really do, because they have some of the loyalest fans you can get. And I truly, I mean, one thing about this division, you've got the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills who have major home field advantage this time of the year because it's freezing cold. And those fans come out there and support those people like crazy. And who in the world wants to go watch the Patriots get pounded on by anybody at this point? It doesn't matter who the team is, because it's just, and I seriously do feel sorry for them. I'm not kidding. I feel sorry for their fans. I feel sorry for, I don't even know how Belichick and Brady can even watch a game at this point. It's like, oh my word, what is going on? This is just, it's sad from the top to the bottom. There's hardly anything to watch.
yeah, I've definitely been paying closer attention to my fantasy team than I have been the New England Patriots this year. It has been tough to watch. Um, One thing I thought was funny that you said, how can Brady and Belichick watch them right now? Well, Brady is off watching some other game commentating, so he doesn't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, this is true.
With his new ownership stakes in the Raiders, probably doesn't even have time to watch the Patriots right now. As far as Belichick goes, I am shocked he's still an available coach.
Yeah, me too.
I just wonder where he's going to go next season because there's no way he stays unavailable throughout this next offseason. Something I will be watching for in the offseason. I did do some research real quick. I wanted to compare the records of Aaron Rodgers as a Jet and Brett Favre as a Jet. I thought that was interesting because they've had a little bit of the same career path. Aaron Rodgers was under Brett Favre for the whole start of his career. And so right now, Aaron Rodgers' Jet record 3-8, and Brett Favre's Jet record. What? You have a guess?
Wow. It wasn't good, but I don't think it was that bad.
It was 16 games.
16 games. Okay, I'll say 6 and 10.
Was 9-7 as the Jets quarterback.
I did not know he did that good. I didn't think he had a winning record there.
Did not by much, by 2 games, but that's still a winning record.
Wow. Yes, it is.
Oh, I don't know. I just thought that was a fun little stat.
That is a fun little stat. And was
And
he older than Rodgers?
I can look up and get back to. So
Okay.
continue
Yeah,
on.
get
I'll
back
look that
to me
up.
on that. Let me go to AFC North because that's my division. That's the one I have followed my whole life. And we'll start with Pittsburgh Steelers because they're first in the division, even though I don't want to say it out loud. Um, they just now beat the Baltimore Ravens, and for most of my life, that rival has been a rival that it comes down to the last person holding the ball, and it's usually within a touchdown, sometimes within a field goal, and it's just very difficult to watch if you're a fan of either one because it just comes down to will he make it? Will he make it? Will he make it? Maybe he will. Oh man, he missed it. And so that's the way it's been for most of my life watching these games. And then the other time you just rejoice because he just made a 55-yard field goal. And so Pittsburgh has an interesting rotating quarterback this year. They got this young guy by the name of Justin Fields who is great on his feet and he's doing super good. Then they got this comeback kid named Russell Wilson who's older than dirt, and everybody said, "Oh, give up on him," and he's been all over the place. And the man is doing some phenomenal stuff. He's throwing balls all over the field, and people are like, "You got to be kidding me! What is this guy?" And he's doing what Rodgers wishes he could do. The neat thing about Pittsburgh, and let me just go to the Pittsburgh Baltimore thing again. Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh are two of the longest coaches coaching the same team in NFL right now. Tomlin has been coaching since 2007. Harbaugh has been coaching since 2008. And so these
For
two have just
those who don't want to do the math, Mike Tomlin has been with the Steelers for 18 years, and Harbaugh has been with the Ravens for 17 years.
that's a lot of games. Um, and so they know each other. I mean, they've been through different quarterbacks already now, and so it's just really a neat thing to see. Now, is either one of those quarterbacks better than Lamar Jackson? No. The funny part is Lamar Jackson is still an MVP quarterback even after the loss of this past week. He still did better than those two. Uh, and so he still has the most touchdowns for the year. And so it's amazing that they're in first place, first of all. But Baltimore Ravens, let me just switch over to them. There's been a lot of talk. Justin Tucker, the kicker, one of the best kickers of all time, he missed 2 field goals this time. They lost by 3 points. Okay. So people are saying it's time to get rid of Justin Tucker. It's like, are you serious right now? I mean, come on. The guy's been one of the best field goal kickers of all time. He has like an 80% rate of over 50 yards making the field goal. I actually made a comment to somebody today online. To me, a kicker and a catcher are a lot alike. And once they make a mistake, it gets in their head and then they can mess up the rest of the game. I don't know what you know about catchers, but once a catcher makes a mistake, sometimes they can be innings getting in out of their system. And that's exactly what happens to a kicker. They mess up once and then it's like the rest of the game what am I supposed to do? How do I get this out of my head? And I think that's what happened to that game. It just was a mind over matter thing. And it was like, you know what? I stink today. That's all there is to it. Um, I mean, they play again. They'll play again in just a couple weeks here, and it could be a total turnaround. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, who is the running back, who is one of the best. The guy already has over 1,100 yards rushing this year. The guy's like a tank going through people. He could be MVP of the year. But between him and Lamar Jackson, the running game of Baltimore is incredible. But if there's anything I miss, okay, I grew up with Baltimore defense that we were known for having the best defense in the national the National League in the NFL. Um, and I miss that. I
They're gonna
don't.
tell us to stay to baseball after this episode.
Yeah, I know. Uh, I truly miss keeping the score down, and Baltimore has allowed a lot of points against them. Now they can score. They're very good at scoring, but they've allowed way too many points against them. And I think that's why they're really struggling. I don't think it has anything to do with Justin Tucker. I don't think it has anything to do with Lamar Jackson and some of his hiccups every now and then. By the way, the three things that are his hiccups, he cannot seem to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers consistently. He cannot beat the Kansas City Chiefs consistently, and he yet to get us out of the playoffs. He can get to the playoffs, but he can't get beyond that. He can't go to the Super Bowl, and so those are his little hurdles that he has to get over. All right, so enough of that. I could spend a long time on the Ravens because I love them. Um, but Cincinnati Bengals, this go
Oh,
right ahead. Go ahead.
uh, just real quick. Brett Favre was 39 years old when he joined the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old currently.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I knew they were
Yep.
close.
Yep.
Okay,
And go back to Baltimore just really quickly. Um, if people are really saying they need to get rid of Justin Tucker, Justin Tucker is a Hall of Fame kicker.
exactly, exactly.
You say he missed 2 field goals? Whoop de doo, Basil.
That's what I'm saying.
he he is Baltimore Ravens. He's been a
Exactly.
Baltimore Raven for, I mean, probably his entire career.
I think so. Close to it.
He needs to stay a Baltimore Raven until he retires. There's
Exactly.
no getting rid of Justin Tucker. It's Justin Tucker hanging it up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And just really quickly about Derrick Henry. Personally, love Derrick Henry. A few years ago, I joined this dynasty league with some of my friends. It was my first round pick, and people were laughing at me for it. The end of that season, they apologized. I still have Derrick Henry in the league, and I'm very thankful for it. He's doing very well for me this
Well,
season.
yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. Well, now the team that I just have to shake my head, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, on paper, is probably the best quarterback in the NFL. This guy is incredible. You put him on the right team, and he should be absolutely MVP. He is an amazing quarterback. He is tied for first with 24 touchdowns that goes right along with Lamar Jackson. And the sad part is he does have a great wide receiver, and so and the guy has almost 1,000 yards received. I can't understand why they can't win. Their defense, they sacked the quarterback of the other team. The only thing I can guess is they don't have any rushing. And if you understand the dynamics of football, in order to get your passing going, you have to start with rushing. So you run, 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 and then you pass. And so I'm guessing that teams know that he's going to pass, so he can't get anywhere. Just that one guy, that one wide receiver, must be the amazing at escaping from his defenseman, is all I can guess. But when you look at paper, when you look at stats, there is no reason why Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals aren't doing better than they are. Um, and frankly, you put him on another team, and I think he's doing phenomenal. It almost reminds me of how Dan Marino was for so many years with Miami and just hardly ever made it, hardly anywhere, and never did end up with a ring on his finger, which is just
So, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase played together in college.
okay.
They played together in college. They have that connection. Um, and like you said, on paper, he might be the best quarterback in the league. He has a decent wide receiver room. They have no rushing. He had Joe Mixon last season. They had him for the rest of his career up until this season. Um, Things got sour between the two parties, the team and Joe Mixon, and he wound up leaving in free agency. They just didn't pick up a running back to compete with Mixon. They definitely had a downfall this season in rushing. That's because the departure of Joe Mixon. He went to Houston and is having a fantastic year. AFC North is a good division. Wow.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Now, the team that I thought Cleveland Browns, I just don't understand the AB of the Cleveland Browns. One year they're
I don't think
fun to
anyone
watch.
does.
One year they're fun to watch. The next year it's like, where'd they go? What happened? I didn't think they got rid of that many people. What happened here? Um, and I mean, the whole time that I lived in Ohio for 6 years, they could not find a quarterback, and then they would find one, and he would be good for a game or two, and then he would be gone, and then it was like, okay, what's going on? Excuse me. Well, they're back to needing a quarterback again, and part of the reason is their quarterbacks have been sacked 30 times already this year. I would never be a quarterback for them. I mean, you might as well just go ahead and fall down every time. That's insane. They are a team again that's ranked like New England, 25th and below in many of the categories. And so here they are back to being a building team, even though they were at one time ranked in the second and third up through this division. So I never know what to say about Cleveland. I have never figured them out. I don't understand how they can go from what seems to be a decent year to just struggle, struggle, struggle all the way through. And that seems to be their life over and over again. Um, and I don't know what else to say about them. They just don't make sense to me. And they haven't for a long time. And it doesn't seem to matter who their coach is. It doesn't seem to matter who their quarterback is. They just can't get it together and haven't been able to for more than a decade now. And it's sad because again, Cleveland fans are fantastic. Um, and they're all over the world. And it's just a shame that they can't get it together up there.
So what I find interesting is they need a quarterback. And just a couple years ago, they traded for the one they have right now. He was facing some allegations, off-field allegations at the time, and they gave up a lot. And then they signed him to a major extension.
See, that's
They sh-
something doesn't make sense up in the office area somewhere.
no. So they gave up how many picks? One, two, three, four, five. They gave up 6 picks to get Deshaun Watson. 2022, a first and a fourth. 2023, a first and a third.
You can't do
2024,
that.
first and a fourth. And then they signed him to, can't even believe the number I'm seeing here. 5 years, $230 million.
Wow.
What has he
Wow.
done for this team?
Yeah, really, really, that's the
He's
truth.
stolen their money. He's stolen their money and their draft
Exactly.
picks.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's done. All right, let's go to
Well,
AFC South. AFC South is another one of these very terrible divisions. Houston, Texans is the only one with a winning uh, average. The rest of them all have less than 500 ball. And once again, Texans are they're almost lucky because C.J. Stroud, he's been sacked over 30 times this season already. That's a lot for as good as he's doing. He's a great quarterback, and I have a lot of respect for Houston Texans, but I'm just afraid because of this division, they haven't been tested enough yet. That always worries me. Now the Bills, they have been tested. Houston Texans, I don't know if they have or not, but I can say this much: C.J. Stroud, he's the real deal.
oh yeah.
You don't have to worry about him. He will take them where they need to be. I'm not worried about Houston Texans. He will
They
find
will
a way.
take it will take them higher to a place where blind men see. Not this year. Not this year. Didn't they already bench him?
They did, but that story of
Okay.
him coming back and just absolutely showing off and showboating what an old man can do, absolutely amazing. I mean, he came in there and just really showed these young punks. I mean, he's old enough to be their dad, man, and he comes in there.
Mike Tyson, take notes. I'm
Now,
sorry. I'm sorry.
to me, the Indianapolis Colts are still very much a building team. They have a lot to do yet. Um, The one thing I did find that was just amazing about this team, they have two players and a third player, two players that are over 100 and one near 100 tackles, and a third player that's nearly 30 tackles. So they've got some good defense going on when they've got that many that are already doing that many tackles just this
So
far
the
into.
defense isn't the problem.
Right, exactly. So they need a quarterback, obviously. And I know they've settled on a quarterback because they did tell Joe, "Hey, stay here, don't go anywhere, but we're going to bench you for now." And I think he's all right with it. That's the neat thing about him. From what I understand, he was fine coming back, but he was also fine with, "Hey, wherever you want me, I'm willing to do it." And I think that's so cool. It just shows what kind of guy he is. Remember, he was one of my Ravens at one time, and he did take us to the Super Bowl. And old Joe Flacco, he can wing that ball. He has some arm left in him, and so I really truly I like it a lot. He's a
I
fun
could
guy.
be wrong about this. If my memory serves me right, on the path to the Super Bowl for Flacco that year, they beat the Patriots in the playoffs.
I believe you're right. Yeah, I believe you're right. Yes, yeah, I believe that's right. So the next team is Tennessee Titans, and I don't know a lot about them simply because they're a very young team. And so most of those guys have come right out of college, and I don't keep up enough with college to know. They have to be in the NFL for a few years for me to actually keep up with them. Uh, but I do know that they don't have a passing game. They really do need a quarterback. And I do know that there are some quarterbacks coming up in the next few years out of the college. So I do expect them to get one. They're another one that just now hired a brand new coach. And so it's pretty rough when you have a young team plus a brand new coach. So I look for them to struggle here for a few years, but I do expect them to turn it around. There's nothing wrong with a young team in football. That's okay. But it's just going to take a little bit of time to gel together and put the pieces together that you need to make the team. And they're in the right division to at least be able to do that. Because they could, at least they're not in the hardest division in football, or they would be in rough shape. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what I think of Trevor Lawrence. For one thing, I don't like long-haired people in football. And so that's just terrible. I shouldn't even say something like that, but it's just true. It just looks weird. But they have somebody that they. I read something about their special teams that just. I've always liked special teams. And part why I like special teams is you can come out of soccer and become a special teams player in the NFL. And that's exactly what they've done. And they've got a rookie field goal kicker who already has a ton of 50 plus field goals this year. And actually, it's a sad year for Justin Tucker because this guy's doing better than him. Cam Little is his name. And then Logan Cook is a punter, and this guy is he has perfected that punt that not only takes him way back, but also it inches its way out of bounds. That is an awesome punt, and that is a perfection type punt that comes along with soccer because it takes a certain type of spin, and not a lot of people have it. And so I just love that these guys are coming out of soccer. They don't know beans about football, but they know how to kick a ball, and they just teach them how to do it. And it's just sad because Jacksonville Jaguars are ranked 25th and below again in so many categories. They've got a lot they need help with. I don't know that Trevor Lawrence is the problem. I don't think he is. He but I think he needs some surrounding pieces. Um, if he would cut his hair, he might do better. I don't know, but I'm just saying, Jacksonville is another very tough team to watch. They're just not easy to watch, but their special teams is something of beauty. And you don't win games with special teams, but you can create some really crazy scenarios for the other team with special teams and make it very difficult to be scored on. So if they could build up their defense and have I've always said in football, if you have a great defense and a mediocre offense, you're going to win some games. And that's really what they could do here, especially if they're going to have a good special teams as well. So I really think they've got a great chance of making a team out of themselves and get out of some of those 25th and below rankings if they'll try that.
Yeah. Um. So about the Jaguars, it's tough, and the best part of your team right now is the special teams.
I know.
Um.
Y- Yeah,
It's
exactly.
I know Trevor Lawrence is hurt right now, but it's hard for him not to be the problem when the team is 2-9. 2-9. Trevor Lawrence has showed some promise before, but this season, I don't know if he's been dealing with this injury and playing through it. Um, if so, I mean, I would give him another healthy season before maybe looking elsewhere to try to replace him. But 2-9 is rough.
Yes, it is.
Just a little thing. I'm not much the college football world either. I would like to be. I've never gotten into it. But I do remember in college watching an Auburn with my roommate, and their running back that we were watching is now on the Jaguars. It looks like he just overtook the starting spot, so I'm excited to see what Tank Bigsby can do for the Jacksonville offense.
Good. Good. All right, let's move to the AFC West. And there, of course, is the reigning NFL Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they did finally get their defeat, and the Miami Dolphin fans are saying yay because that means they won't go undefeated. Many people thought they would this year, and that leaves Miami as the only team that's ever done it. This is an off year for Patrick Mahomes. And what's neat is, even though Patrick Mahomes is having a bad year, the team is still doing good. I would not worry about this team just because Patrick Mahomes is having an off year. They have all the pieces it takes to win a game, period. Uh, Andy Reid will go down as one of the best coaches of all time. Anywhere he's ever been has done well. Not only that, the man has gone on to coach other coaches that are now coaching all over the league. He is an amazing guy. He does some funny commercials, good sense of humor, but he just is a fun-loving guy. But he's all about business. He's not fooling around out there. Um, Patrick Mahomes is not the GOAT, in my opinion. Not yet. He's getting there. Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just pointed to the GOAT. Exactly. Tom Brady is the GOAT. I'm sorry. When you've got that many Super Bowls under your belt, there you go. There's nothing else to say. The other thing I want to talk about with this team is the whole Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift thing. So the reason I want to bring it up is because right now the big talk is Dallas going down as being America's team, and this is becoming America's team. And the whole reason why some of this is being brought up is because all of a sudden, not only is Dallas not winning, but people are caring a whole lot more about Kansas City Chiefs. And here's part of the reason why. Anytime Travis Kelsey touches the ball, it doesn't matter if it's for a split second or if he runs and catches the ball, 15 yards down the field. If she's there, there's an automatic picture taken up to Taylor Swift. And all the little girls and all the young girls of our world go, "Oh, there's Taylor Swift. There's Taylor Swift." Yeah, right. There's the little scream moment. And, Daddy from his little man cave says, "Oh, hey, girls, here comes Taylor Swift. Hey, he just caught the ball." And they pause the TV and everybody comes and watches the Taylor Swift little moment. And so because of this, everybody has become a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And it's like, particularly if they win again this year, the Super Bowl, I think they have a good chance of overtaking Dallas Cowboys and becoming the team of America. Do I think it's right? Well, I never have liked Dallas as the team of America in the first place. But but I no, I don't know. I'm not sure why certain teams take over these things, but hey, if they would have gone undefeated plus got the Super Bowl, then look out, world. It would have been absolutely crazy what would
Can
have
we please
happened.
not talk about undefeated teams? Please, please. I was a little child. Patriots needed one more win to be the second
Well, I
undefeated
forgot
team.
about that. Yeah.
Lost to Eli Manning.
Yeah, that was rough. I do remember that.
I got tears in my eyes because I cried when that
I
happened.
do
Yeah, I may
remember
have
that.
been 7 or whatever, but hey,
The,
just that brings back. I got tears in my eyes again.
if there is such a thing as a rough spot in Kansas City Chiefs, it is rushing. And it is amazing that defenses cannot catch up to Patrick Mahomes, but he unfortunately is that good. Um, I'm sorry to say that, but he is. Uh, the other reason why he is so good, and I have to say this because people forget this, the guy's offensive line is incredible. And that is where Andy Reid has done well at every team he's ever coached. The man puts in an offensive line that is absolutely unstoppable. And so because of that, you're going to give your quarterback an extra few seconds, and those seconds mean everything when you're a quarterback. And so that offensive line is huge, and that's exactly why Kansas City Chiefs do so well. Yes, huge. It's going to be
Huge.
huge. Huge. Okay. All right,
The
moving on.
wall. That offensive line is a wall. It's huge.
Los Angeles
I'm
Chargers.
sorry. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
The Los Angeles Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, has come there to be their coach from Michigan, and he is doing an all right job for the conference that he's in. One of the neat things that he's doing, and it just comes right from Michigan, he has the best defense in football right now. They're only allowing 13 points a game. That's less than 2 touchdowns, people. That is pretty good stuff. Um, I wish I could tell you that that means that he's winning a ton. Can you look up their record real quick while I'm continuing to read here?
Uh,
They do know.
I actually have it
Go
up.
ahead.
The Chiefs' record is 9-1. The Chargers are 7-3. The Broncos are 6-5, and the Raiders are 2-8.
Okay, so they are 7-3. That's not bad. Um, the Chargers do need a quarterback, and funny enough, in my personal opinion, I don't think Jim Harbaugh has ever had a good quarterback. Michigan's never had a good quarterback.
You don't
What
like
little bit
Justin
I
Herbert?
what?
Don't like their quarterback, Justin Herbert?
No, no, I do not. No, I think they need something better than that. Um, so their defense is what's won their games, and like I said, I believe this and I live by it. Bet a good defense, mediocre offense, you're going to win some games. But if he wants to move on, he is going to have to get a little better offense moving on. And I think they need a little bit more offense. That's about the only thing I can think of there for them. Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos is another team that I feel like is sometimes like the Cleveland Browns. They have just made some moves that make no sense whatsoever. It's like, what are you doing? You've had some good stuff in the past. You've had some good quarterbacks. You've had some good defense. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Well, right now they have no passing whatsoever. Their defense seems to be okay. I still think that sometimes they just play on the advantage that they have of knowing that they're Mile High Stadium and they're going to wear out people faster just because they can't breathe. Um, and so, uh, so Denver Broncos is a team that I just have never quite understood. And this is one of those biased again. I was never and never will be a John Elway fan, and John Elway has a lot to do with the Denver Broncos, and so because of that, I just flat out don't like them. That I don't know why I say things like that, but it's just the way it is. Um, I don't like John Elway, so I don't like the Denver Broncos.
That's fair. Um, the Denver Broncos do have a rookie quarterback this year, so that may be why their passing is a little iffy right now. They don't have the best wide receiver room. Um, their new quarterback Bo Nix, I think, has shown potential so far, but he needs to work on his game. He needs to
Okay.
develop more, and I can see him being a decent quarterback in the NFL, but he definitely needs more time to develop.
Okay. And the last team of the AFC is the Las Vegas Raiders, and they are another team that has a first-year coach. They are the worst at allowing 75 yards rushing, or excuse me, they have 75 yards rushing per game. You are not going to win games if that's all you're running.
And they just let their running back go in free agency.
Good night. Okay.
They let Josh Jacobs go, and he signed with the Packers.
Okay. Well, they need help too. And then no defense on top of that and allowing close to 30 points per game. So by the time you can't run the ball and then you allow that many points, what was their record?
Hey,
Yeah. See yeah. And then they're in a brand new location that I'm not even sure what kind of fan base you're going to get in Las Vegas. I mean, unless somebody's out there betting and says, "Hey, let's go to a football game while we're here." I'm, I'm not I'm not even sure who's gonna go and watch them. Um, I that was one of the
not
moves.
Oakland.
Yeah, I that was one of the moves that I did not understand at all. I thought Oakland was 100% Raiders fans, and I just didn't get it. And it was like, what is going on right now? And why is Vegas getting them? I thought there were other places that wanted football long before Vegas did, but it happened and they're there, and I guess it's gonna work out. We'll see. But if they end up being the worst team for year after year after year, I don't know how good it's gonna be. So
Unfortunately, Vegas is where the money is. I think that's
yeah.
why they made the move there, and Raiders need a lot of help. I think their new part owner and Tom Brady will help that. People would want to play for Tom Brady. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe is there a way he can be an owner and a player because they need a quarterback too. So
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh, so